So good morning, Jamie. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, everybody who's tuned in so far.
So show me what's in that drink that you were just having before we do any sensible
It's not
chat.
Bailey's. It's not Bailey's. I
Okay.
wish it was this early, but Megan has got this new crave and fascination with decaf iced lattes. So
Okay.
I'm not complaining because they're fabulous.
Okay. I did think you were drinking alcohol, which is early because I know it's midday somewhere in the world, but it is only 10 a.m. in the UK.
No, I've not come that bad. I think if Megan wasn't pregnant, then we may be drinking a lot more than what I am at the moment. But I think I've only been drunk like twice in this whole isolation, which is
Okay, well let's keep going.
it's good.
So let's talk about kind of the current situation because no one can avoid it anywhere in the world. Obviously, you've got multiple businesses. You've got the salons. You
Yep.
travel as an ambassador, as a product ambassador. You've got the product line. Talking about the salons, how are you kind of how have you been managing in terms before we had a return date in terms of talking to the team and clients and staying in touch?
I think probably, Jane, to be honest, the same as what most other people, we've got our WhatsApp groups. We are sort of doing some things on Zoom. I think the hardest thing for everyone was prior to sort of finding out the actual date was just the unknown. When are we allowed to go back? And it's been really sort of difficult, especially the newest announcement of basically saying, look, we can't go back for another 8 weeks after that Boris. We won't talk about that too much, but that car crash interview of, can we, can't we, but we can't work at home. So that means we should be able to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the general, sort of social is the best way, obviously, because we can't see any of them.
No, I understand that. And what about clients?
To be honest, a couple of weeks before all of this started, I actually got a new sort of general manager for our Clapham salon.
Okay.
And he's been really, really, really good and proactive. So the time that we actually made the decision, believe it or not, to close, I think a week before, they actually forced hairdressers to, just because of, the well-being and safety of myself, our staff and all of our clients were, that was a really tough thing to do. But we made the choice of uploading every single bit of our software, clientele details, emails and stuff to our computer, and then he's taken it home. So
Okay.
we've had our phone line transferred to our sort of, salon mobile. So he is basically still communicating through email, through calls, WhatsApp and everything with our clients just to keep them updated. Because
Yeah.
it's just as hard for them as what it is for us, basically. But
Yeah.
I
And I
will
think
say that we are just about, and I know this may sound very sort of strange, but we're just about to send an email out to all of our clients, basically saying, please, please, please respect, that we can't work and we're not
yeah.
allowed to work. So please stop getting in touch with our stylist and offering them more money to go around to your house and cut it. Because I'm actually going to just say, if I find out, I'm going to ban you from coming back into our salon.
Are you getting a lot of that?
Loads. And,
Okay.
I think I sort of stand with a lot of other hairdressers thinking that, what is just going to happen? You're seeing it all the time on Facebook. I'm walking around, I've even seen some of my neighbours with fresh haircuts, and I know they don't live with hairdressers.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have a massive boom in, mobile hairdressing. And what can we do about it? On one hand, it's absolutely ludicrous. Not only are they putting themselves, but, potentially spreading more.
Yeah.
But on the flip of it, I've got some guys that are self-employed. Obviously, they haven't got this help coming until like the 1st of June. Some of them
Yeah.
have got kids. Some of them are on their own. You can't blame them on one hand because they need money. And when these people are saying, I'll pay you so much more, it's too tempting. So it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I think having seen how Europe opened with hairdressing being amongst the first wave, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but as them everywhere, pretty much except Ireland, had hairdressing salons in the first wave. Were you
Yeah,
surprised that we were kind of phase three?
I am, if I'm super honest, because
Yeah.
I think as an industry and as a trade, we are probably up there, with any other industry regarding cleanliness, sanitization and stuff, and just, health and well-being.
It's
And
what you
the
do.
It's what we do. And I just think the fact, the thing what has kind of made me, I suppose, a little bit more proud of being a hairdresser is one of my mantras and philosophies has always been, hair's the main accessory we wear 24/7 that you can't take off. And if your hair looks like shit, you will feel bad. So actually for morale, you look great, Jayne, don't worry.
No, I can't see
for
anything.
morale, and anxiety and mental sort of well-being, you would have thought equally that they would have put it first.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Very shocked to be honest. But I don't know. I'll give you an example. Actually, I've been very, very, very careful about what I'm doing because I'm not sure if most people know, but Megan is 31 weeks pregnant. And we've got a 2.5-year-old. Yay! So I've obviously got to be really careful because technically, one, we went through the IVF journey, and sort of two, being pregnant puts her in a slightly the higher sort of category. I actually went out yesterday just for a drive, just to kind of, Rudy had his nap. Megan actually had a little sleep in the afternoon. And I could not believe, like, home base, B&Q, carpet right, another store, there was a Kentucky Fried Chicken, like everything was open. There was kebab shops, and you're sitting there thinking, why can't we open?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, and I think when hairdressers, as part of their working life, have such high hygiene standards, it kind of just seems different, doesn't it? I mean, I know there's been lots of chat on social media and people saying, well, how come it's all right to go to the supermarket, but you can't? It's just such a fine balance. And I think none of us have ever dealt with anything like this, and hopefully never will deal with anything like this.
Hope so.
We're getting some questions in. So someone's actually said, so Rebecca Morgan Brennan, she runs a wig hair loss service from her salon for NHS clients. And they have hair systems fitted, and it's such a massive concern. I mean, it's bad enough for the
absolutely
who are not facing those health issues too, that we're a bit fringes too long, our roots are grown out. But actually, when you think about the well-being of people who are already struggling with illness, that's awful.
Absolutely. There's so much sort of stuff, but I just think it's all a little bit confusing and contradictory, to be honest. We had an email yesterday about Rudy's playgroup saying that from the 1st of June, he's allowed to go back, but they're not enforcing the teachers to wear PPE. It's by choice, so we're like, why would we risk it if you're not forcing them? It's just all very, very, very confusing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's a worrying time. And it's actually, someone's asking, Andrew Pierce, do you think it depends on the size of the salon? And I have to preempt this by saying, we are not setting government guidelines, so this is personal opinion. Work on my own, I've never had 2 clients in the salon at one time, so social distancing would be in place. However, because the space is small, doesn't have enough space for this to happen. I mean, that kind of applies to everybody, because there's a potential that salons, and I would imagine it's likely that with social distancing, salons are going to have to operate with less team and consequently less clients.
Well, I think this is the other massive, even for me, I've got salons, and you're sitting there, I'm sure, depending on what people's, P&L sheets are, but, most salons will generally run between if you're lucky, a 60%, but, mainly to a 75, 80%, full capacity, as just a sort of a break even from rent, rate, stock, wages, every single thing. So if some countries we follow, then this social distancing thing, we generally probably won't be allowed to work at more than 50% capacity. So that in itself is, is tough. But
yeah, it is. And in terms of planning ahead, Daryl Starkey-Gettings has said, what are you doing to plan ahead for reopening? So what have you started? I mean, as much as you can without actual guidelines as yet.
To be honest, Jayne, I think it's a really good question. Each to their own, for sure. I think one great thing with our hairdressing community is it is a community, it's a family. I'm on about 10 different groups. They were amazing in the beginning. Now they're just like, oh, guys, right. I just think everyone just needs to take a little breath and just hold fire a little bit. So I personally haven't actually done that much as yet. Actually, I've had two people, you know, and whether it be right or wrong, two of my staff members from each of the salons, you know, are quite handy, you know, decorating. And they literally just sent me like a begging email, Jamie, you know, I know I'm not allowed out, but, you know, just for my sanity, can I go in and just decorate the shop and tidy up? So, you know, first thing that we've done is actually just freshened up the salons. But I'm just reluctant to let other people make money out of this horrible situation. You know, how much more gloves are and, you know, plastic capes. I'm just not jumping on it yet because I actually think nearer the time, I think things will change as well. So, but all of the precautions, you know, with the screens, you know, we're going to sort of say no cash, you know, we're not doing magazines. We're actually not even going to serve drinks, unfortunately. You know, our appointment systems, you know, we're sort of saying that normally if you do a colour, you know, you'll squeeze a cut and blow dry or something in development time. We're sort of saying we're not going to do that. So no overlapping clients, probably drag them out a little bit more so we've got time to clean and sanitise in between each client.
And will you rearrange staff rotas around that? Tracy Dunbar's asking.
To be honest, Jane, so there's two things of how we, probably fortunately in this position, I've had, you know, a couple of staff over the last sort of 12 months, you know, won't go into too much detail, sort of use and abuse. So we've lost a couple of people, which is all fine. So from a fortunate point of view, you know, we've got, I think, you know, 9 chairs. So they're not massive salons, 9 chairs in one, 13, 14 in the other. We're only generally at like 60% capacity regarding staff. So in regards to rotas, we don't need to worry, but then we need to worry about splitting them because if one person gets symptoms, you've got to close the whole shop down for 2 weeks. So you kind of need that backup team, you know, but it's just an absolute sort of minefield, basically.
So, I mean, we could talk about this all day, and I know that it's front and centre for a lot of people watching, but actually, until we get clearer guideline in the government, I mean, someone has asked, and apologies, because the question's gone, so I'm not sure of the name, but they were saying, you know, do you think, like in some countries, people are campaigning to open earlier? If we can prove to government that we have the protocols, we have the PPE, and we stand united, it's a health and wellbeing matter too. Do you think that as an industry, people should unite to try and bring the date forward?
I think, to be honest, I think the public would be better a voice than actually us. You know, because you think, you know, we can sit there and scream from the rooftops, but, you know, they would just think, oh, well, they just want to get back her money, blah, blah, blah. Whereas actually, you know, if there was a general public petition actually out there just said, you know, we know our hairdressers are safe, you know, they are willing to do this, 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 and this, and we can back it up. But if there was some kind of, you know, UK petition of people saying we want to go back to the hairdressers, you know, then hopefully peer pressure would allow us to. But I'm just so fearful of, you know, just look at the tubes. I know I'm using London as an example, but if you, it's literally, it's just like everyone has gone back to normal. You know, I said, I went out yesterday and I am super careful because of Megan, of, you know, masks, gloves. I change my clothes when I come in. Every single time I go shopping, there is always someone that comes up to me and basically says, you know, you effing idiots, people like you that are putting this country in this state, you know.
Why?
And because I'm wearing a mask, and they're like, it's only the flu, it's only a cold, you know. I must have saw 200 people yesterday. I think I saw about 10 people with masks on. So scary.
It's a difficult one, but let's talk about you. And
yes,
it's all about you. Let's talk about you.
No, I don't mean that as in let's talk about.
No, I know.
Let's start talking about Corona.
Happy times. So you are a very busy salon owner, managing multiple businesses, multiple teams. You've got your own product line now, Mister, which is fab. You do a lot of ambassadorial work, so training, education, traveling, because I know I've spoken to you many a time and said, you need to travel less, you work too hard. Because for those that don't know, Jamie is one of the hardest working hairdressers I have ever seen. And I mean that sincerely. You put your heart and soul into everything that you do. You've been very successful at the British Hairdressing Awards, and we will come on to that because lots of people are asking about the British Hairdressing Awards in this year. You've you know, how do you balance that? And also now you've got a young family and that family's about to expand.
A simple answer to the question, you know, I've always had a dream and a goal. So for me, you know, the philosophy is you put the hard work in, you know, super early, and then you can reap the rewards sort of later. So I'm not going to sort of, you know, lie and try and fluff it up. You know, I always sort of say, you know, most people that look at, you know, bigger hairdressers, if you like, I don't like to sort of say that, but, you know, they only generally see the fluffy side of what we do. So, you know, the travel and, you know, this celebrity and that TV stuff, but there is so much that goes on and it is absolutely hard work. And I don't know if there is an answer for me to say, you know, how did I juggle it? I don't know. I think having a very supportive friends and family, especially my wife, network, to understand, you know, my vision and my goal and be supportive. And just ultimately just having, you know, the drive and the work ethic, you know, it is just as simple as that. Try and sort of prioritize, you know, the sort of key sort of things. So, you know, when you're talking about awards, you know, awards were always so high up on that thing because, you know, to say that you're the, you know, a British Hairdresser of the Year nominee, you know, Men's Hairdresser of the Year, you know, that just instantly puts you on a pedestal, sets you kind of above the rest. And then, you know, everything else kind of will sort of filter down from that. You know, I always knew that I wanted to launch a hair care ranges, and specifically a men's one. So hence, again, you know, my sort of planning journey, try and, you know, win Men's Hairdresser of the Year, give you a little bit more clout when you go to launch a men's range. So just hard work, basically.
Yeah, it's graft. Hard graft. There's no getting
hard graft. No good.
It's hard graft. And I think, you know, hairdressing is also all about continually learning. And I don't think anybody's ever learned everything they need to know because the styles change, techniques change, technology changes. It's a continual journey, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Do you have a favourite area in which you operate? So, you know, is there a...
As in, yep. So again, sort of one of my, I can actually, well, I should have found it. When I was 16, I don't know if anyone knows, but I actually used to be a professional footballer. I sort of played for Bristol City and then trials for Man United, but I snapped both my cruciate ligaments. From that time, then I knew that, right, it wasn't going to be football, it was going to be hairdressing. And I wrote a list, literally, on a piece of paper when I was 16, you know, and it was, you know, you know, try and win every single award, you know, celebrity hairdresser, product range, blah, blah, blah. But because of my training, my mum, my nan, my great-granddad were all hairdressers. So I've had an old-fashioned training and a modern training. So my skill set, actually, I can do everything from colour to extensions to afro to men's to women, long hair, short hair. But I always sort of said, you know, that sort of scenario, if someone put a gun to your head and they said, right, Jamie, you can only ever do one thing, for sure it would be cutting. But actually, as I've got a bit older and a bit more wiser, I absolutely love more like editorial avant-garde hair. Which is something I've been doing a lot actually in quarantine.
Have you? Someone's asked, actually, are you doing some stuff that they can view? Because you mentioned you were doing stuff with the team on Zoom. Someone said, is there anywhere they can see the stuff that you've been doing in lockdown?
For sure. So again, I'll be sort of really like honest to you and everyone, because of the hard work for the last sort of like, you know, 10, 15 years for me, you know, the long ass journey it took us to have our amazing son with IVF of sort of 5 years. Hopefully, like you said, we're never, ever, ever going to have like an epidemic like this again, where we are going to be able to be at home. So I've probably been a bit selfish towards like all of the hairdressing sort of side. And I've just really enjoyed focusing on, you know, family, Megan, Rudy. So the long-winded answer to that question is I haven't done much. But, you know, now we've got another 8 weeks, I will start to do a lot more. So, yeah, on my Instagram, Facebook, it's going to be teaming up with a couple of things, which I can let everyone know sort of later, where they can come on. Most of it's going to be free.
If people follow your Instagram handle, which is the best one?
Is at Jamie Stevens Hair. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and then there's definitely going to be a lot more coming up.
And you know what, Jamie, I admire you for being honest enough to say, actually, I've enjoyed having this time it's almost to recalibrate, isn't it? And to enjoy the things that are all around us every day, but actually, we take for granted and are often too busy being busy and doing stuff to enjoy.
For sure, I won't go into sort of too much, but this time is definitely a bit of isolation. Refresh your mind. Dust off some sort of cobwebs and actually realize some of the things, or even people. It just actually makes you okay. What is important? What is important? Actually, what have I really missed during this time, and actually what haven't I missed? And then sort of weighing it up of, right, actually, before life balance might have been like this, it's kind of getting it like this, and then maybe just get rid of some shit. I know it's not very nice, and just focus on some other stuff. So we'll never get this again. So
let's hope.
No, absolutely.
I think it is many hairdressers want to work in television, and you have done a lot of that from This Morning to X Factor and. How did that come about? Because I think some people, and you're right, people only see you put the best. Everyone puts the best version of themselves on Instagram and social media.
Of course.
So they don't see the 4 a.m. starts and the hard graft and the assisting before you get the job. But actually, just
what have you got? Quick.
We have a visitor.
Sorry, we've got a visitor.
Everybody watching, if you haven't seen how cute this little fellow is, he is super cute.
Oh, quick. Go on then. So quickly, just while Megan bribes him to come and sit here with a biscuit.
Tell us about the journey into how you did get into getting that television work.
So again, going right back, how it actually started when I first won Men's Hairdresser of the Year. I believe it was in 2008.
Yeah.
I had a phone call from Gok Wan's agent.
Yeah.
And she called me and just said, look, obviously we know that you've won. We've Googled who's the best men's hairdresser. Would you cut his hair? So I was like, yep, of course. So I cut his hair. And then we built up a relationship. Not like that, everyone, if you know what I mean. And at the time, How to Look Good Naked was really, really big. And the hairdresser, 3 weeks after I cut Gok's hair, cancelled.
Okay.
So he called me in a panic. I didn't get it by being Jesus. That is one hell of a bribe, Megan.
That's a bribe.
Come on, you can come and say hello.
Hello, Megan. Hi, Rudy. Jamie, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you. Lovely to see you, but see you all.
There we go. Rudy, say hello.
Hi, Rudy. Oh, snacks. Not interested in you, Jamie. Let's not pretend.
I know, not interested in me, not whatsoever.
Snacks on the table.
I'm going to put this because I know it's a
Yes, thank you.
And it's better. Then his hairdresser cancelled. He called. I basically, Megan, my sister, her partner at the time was working in hair. So we just basically went, and then literally I became the resident hairdresser of How to Look Good Naked. Then I did another show with Gok. Then I actually won Celebrity Hairdresser of the Year at the Clove Show.
Yeah.
Then I got approached by This Morning to basically do that. And then from This Morning, I got approached by X Factor. And it wasn't, I had to do a interview like this actually on the phone with Simon Cowell, the final one. And I think there was 300 hairdressers at the time.
Right.
And then I got that. And then sort of more recently back on sort of ITV on Lorraine.
And do you enjoy that part of it?
If I'm super honest, Jane, if anyone, I know I've got this sort of bit of a, and it really never bothered me. Obviously it does a little bit, but, you can say a little bit of Marmite, there's a lot of sort of jealousy and backstabbing in this industry, as well as a lot of others. So, but I am actually a really shy person. I actually suffered really badly, like with anxiety, because I am such a. I don't need people to tell me, well, that wasn't very good or blah. I am my worst critic. I put myself under so much pressure,
Yeah.
and when I look back and think back, at how nervous, I used to take beta blockers before I was doing all of my sort of live stuff, like literally, and I wouldn't sleep like
No.
the night before. On it, and that is God's honest truth. People wouldn't think that about me, but I had such a desire to be successful. Looking back, you would never have known. You remember actually when I got you and you came and did all of that stuff with me on this morning, Jamie's Apprentice.
It was great.
Like deep down, I am literally not now, of course, but that's like age and experience. Now, to be honest, I still get nervous even when I do any type of show. I had a little bit of a heart flutter. That was probably because of you, Jayne,
I think that's
this
good.
morning. No, absolutely. Look, and it's something that my dad actually sort of said to me. I think, the minute that I lose that, then I will probably stop it, basically.
Yeah.
Because I think, what is the point? I still want that, and I've still got that hunger and drive. It probably did sort of soften, if I'm being super honest with myself, the last 2 years, but that was just purely because I was just fully focused on being a dad.
Good, as you should be.
No, for sure. Yeah.
We've talked about the awards, and Dylan Mahoney saying what's happening with the Hairdressing Awards. We have made changes to the awards in terms of the entry process. So for anybody that wants to look, you can check on HJ's Instagram in terms of number of pictures, entry dates. We are continually reviewing the situation, obviously, because of the date of opening. But the plan is absolutely the Hairdressing Awards will be happening in November. We will follow absolutely every guideline the same way for Salon International. So, planning like we're all planning for whatever the new normal looks for, but be assured we will take, and we spoke about this yesterday off camera, all the kind of necessary precautions to make sure it's a safe environment for everybody. Kate Dunn has said, where would be a good place to start if you're wanting to get back into hair? Although I've experienced as an assistant, I've never run a column as a stylist. I love it. Where could I start?
Call me, I'll give you a job. Where does she live?
If she did,
no. Do you know what? I think it was Clive. Clive from Hob. He posted something yesterday where there Clive Collins. He posted a video with like a BBC thing where basically there was this young, what looked like an amazing girl who was talking about she loved like an apprentice job in the industry, but she'd been fired, or just let go.
Because of COVID.
No, this was before all of this, just sort of saying, they couldn't do like the apprenticeship sort of scheme. I don't really know what it was, but I'm sitting there thinking, it's been quite well documented, that, there has been a lack of, people getting into our industry. So, I will happily put out there on this video now, if anyone lives or works in and around the London area or the Surrey area and you want to be a trainee hairdresser, call me. I will give you a job right now. Because they are far and few between. So
I agree. And what do you look for, Jamie, when you're looking at, you're not old by any stretch, but you've got a lot of experience under your belt now. What do you look for in an apprentice to make them, just that they're going to be good for the industry?
Again, being super honest, what I look for now compared to what I looked for 4 years ago is very different because I've had to drop our standards of what we look for because we can't find any. If that makes sense. So to be honest, it was even a case of now people who just apply. It's like right. Come straight in. Do a trial day. We don't even do that interview kind of process. We just look. We are desperate to get young people into our industry. So qualities that we may have looked for before, which would be, I suppose, just to see how they conduct themselves, how they present themselves, what their ambitions are, what their kind of dreams are, what sort of stuff they want to focus on. Now all of that kind of goes out the window. It's like, right, come in, do a trial day, we'll do this, we'll do that, and then go from there. So it's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. On that point, and I can't believe that we're already at 30 minutes because there's so much we could talk about.
Sorry, that's probably me. I'll slow down.
No, not at all. And we're getting lots of people are saying, thank you, your honesty is fantastic. So that's Gary Thompson, Georgina Hill, how inspirational, really nice to hear somebody so grounded and honest. And, I think you are very black and white. You say what you think, and I like that because
Gets me in trouble a few times.
Well, but at least people know where they stand. And I think what's been brilliant, not brilliant, the positive we can take out of this situation is, as you said, the hairdressing industry coming together and supporting each other. And I think that's been fantastic.
Absolutely.
And reaffirms why this is such a great place to work. I love this industry, as I know everybody does. So if you look back now, what would you say to your 18-year-old self? What would you
I don't want it to sound, apart from, 18 or 16?
Either, take your pick.
I would probably tell myself to listen to the physios, right? Because I basically made my knee injury worse.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's not saying, obviously, that I would have wanted to be a professional footballer, but so that would be my sort of first thing. But secondly, I've made a couple of sort of, mistakes, but I don't actually know, and I don't want that to make me sound like really sort of ego-y, but I met the woman of my dreams. I've now got an amazing family. I've got a successful, business. It is, product range that's sold across the world and in some of the biggest places. I've won, had over 100 nominations, got amazing team, 45 awards, healthy, I don't know. So I don't really just, keep doing exactly what you were doing, aim for the moon. Even if you miss, you end up among the stars.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, we haven't talked about it, but Brooke Evans has said, we're very lucky to have Jamie as our fame team mentor.
Oh, bless Brooke. So yeah, just, for me, you mentioned I'm not old, but I am actually 40 this year. So I know I'm not old, but I've been doing it, in the industry now for a good sort of 20 years. So for me, the awards and stuff, obviously I've still got that hunger and everything to, hopefully be nominated for British again. If everyone's listening, fucking nominate me.
Beep, beep.
Sorry. But for me, yeah, it's absolutely now a time for me to kind of give back as much as possible. So being in the Fame team back in 2006, I actually met Megan through the Fame team in 2008. So I owe a hell of a lot to the fellowship. So for me, it was just a really good time of becoming the Fame team sort of manager and mentor and trying to, help and guide 4 amazing people to learn some of the stuff that I've learned, give them some advice and help them on their journey.
No, I get that. And final question, Julie Medlin said, what about training older hairdressers that did their qualifications years ago and need to update their skills? Would you consider them?
100%. 100%, God, I've got to be careful what I sort of say, but, older, for sure. Look, I literally don't care. We've got this policy, black, white, yellow, green, old, young, we don't care who you are, it's about passion, drive. I could teach someone who is a really bad hairdresser to become a very good hairdresser if you've got the passion and the drive and the commitment. Simple.
Yeah. No, I get that.
You can teach talent, you can't teach passion.
No, you can't.
For me.
No, you absolutely can't. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. And lovely to see Rudy and Megan, albeit briefly. Good luck with the new baby. So when's the new arrival expected?
She is due on the 17th of July. So never my luck, the lockdown will finish and then I've still got to stay at home, which is obviously amazing. So yeah, 17th of July.
Okay. Well, good luck. And thank you so much. It's been lovely. Sending lots of love to all the family, Jamie. Take care.
And you take care. Thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye.